Hello, Laura. Good to see you. I love this mermaid situation. You look like a beautiful mermaid.
Well, thank you. I've had a very productive day, and I'm just leaning into environmental factors here in the great city of Chicago. It has been a very misty morning, very foggy, which makes the hair do this, and so rather than fight it, just got to lean in. So this is happening. I will not have hair this length much longer. I really destroyed it in the silica lagoons of Iceland, and it needs to go away. So I'm leaning in for the next couple of weeks. It looks great, feels like straw. So you gotta just we're
Does look
on
great.
screen though. On screen, we're really vibing with it.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah,
do you have an appointment to take care of this?
I will. I have about 3 appointments I need to make this afternoon, so that will be one of them. But yeah, it's time to bring it up. Nothing crazy, but from here down, she had a good run. She had Iceland. I was just saying, although I'm referencing Iceland, tomorrow we have quality content for the people, all about our trip to Iceland in our Level Up series on Friday. So we'll be making allusions to our trip, but we will have exclusive Iceland content for party people, and I really hope you can join us on Friday.
Me
So no,
too.
Allison, to answer your question, I do not have an appointment yet, but it is coming quite soon. So
I'm just invested in this as I was on hand to see the hair get destroyed.
yeah,
I have
struggle,
I have
struggle.
I have a front row seat
Yeah,
to it.
it's it's not the word, hair holds memories, and in this case, literally, I brought some Iceland home with me, and all my ends are like, oh. So that's what's happening with the hair. But thank you for the compliment. I really like your shirt, by the way. So
Thank
cute.
you. My very best friend got this for me.
Oh, she sounds
Um,
great.
uh, yeah, she is. She has beautiful hair. Don't touch it. Just
Hmm.
look at it.
Yeah, far away, from
Um,
far away, it's gorgeous.
far away. But yeah, I love this little tattoo. I haven't pulled her out yet. Because I swear before we went to Iceland, it was not summer, and now that we're back from
Mm-mm.
Iceland, it is summer. So all the
It is.
summer fits need to come out.
Yes, in fact, it is the first official day of summer. It is the summer solstice, which is crazy because it's been summering around these parts since we got back. That is for
Yes,
sure.
it has. It has. I think it would. I was trying to play this game, Laura, where I was like, well, I was just in Iceland, so it's extra hot. But it's not normal. This is not normal. These are not normal temperatures. Today feels like a goddamn delight. I did so much.
Hmm.
I did all my erranding today because I couldn't leave the house
Hmm.
before today. So yeah, today feels great.
Yes, it
I
does.
ran around with all my heavy things, delivering them to various places that I needed to do before the temperature just goes back up tomorrow. But yeah, it's not normal. It is a problem, a huge problem that can be rectified. That's just not being rectified. So here we are living in this
Yeah.
mess.
The other
Um,
environmental factor that's really getting me down is that air quality piece. Oh boy, like the cool
real.
temperature is nice, but the air quality warning, I'm feeling it. I am feeling it.
Yeah,
But that's
it's
all
tough.
right, It's yeah,
Yeah,
post-COVID, the lungs aren't what they used to be. That's for sure.
yeah. Um, yeah. I saw a man struggling. We had to help a gentleman yesterday when we were coming back, when Shane and I were coming back from our walk with Royal, who just could not handle the heat. It is serious and it sneaks up on you. So
Mm-hmm.
don't be a hero. Don't be a hero. Okay,
No,
take care of yourself.
absolutely
It
not.
is real and
Absolutely not.
super, super scary. Um, so Laura, we are an hour later than we normally do because you've been working overtime at the old
Yeah.
Evanston Stitch Works.
That's right. I really hit the ground running upon our return, and it has been in-person classes for me nonstop, including today, which is a Thursday, not my normal day at the Stitchworks. But shout out to Grace, who has picked up a lot of hours so that I can travel freely, and could go to Iceland, could go to Berlin before that, could go to London before that. and has really stepped up and helped out my classes a lot. So I stepped in today, and I'm going to be helping Grace in 2 of her classes. Did have a crochet question this morning, and I did my best.
That is what you were worried about
It was?
when we were talking about this yesterday.
Indeed. And however, I'm proud of both of us because it was one of those things where mostly she just needed to talk it out. And that's what we did. And so I was like, well, here's my best educated guess. Try this. And then she was like, okay, I'm trying it. I'm liking it, but I want to practice it a little bit more. And I was like, great. And then she took a brain break and worked on another project and then went back to it. And I think by the end, we had figured it out together. So a collaborative crochet solution is good by me. So pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, go ahead.
I was going to elaborate on that a little bit.
Do it.
It is easy to be stumped, I feel like, by crochet questions because with crochet, anything goes. You're just stabbing and swipping and stabbing and swipping. It's crazy.
Yes.
It is challenging.
Yes.
In a way that is different than how knitting is challenging. And we over at Laura Allyson Party, we are knitting forward, I would say, but we of course do not exclude crochet. Both Laura and I do crochet, but both Laura and I have more limited knowledge of crochet than we do with knitting. And I've definitely been back in the store when people would come in for crochet help. I had definitely been like, absolutely, I can help you with that. Why don't you take a seat? I was just in the middle of something over at the computer. Let me just wrap that up and then I'll come right back over to help you. Watched a YouTube video or two and then came back over with fresh knowledge from the internet to help to help. That, no shame in that game, right?
No, I mean, truly, like I feel that Grace is, as a teacher, her skills are wide ranging, but specifically as a crochet teacher, I feel like that is like, I admire her, that skill set of hers the most, because I find that there's a lot less quality control of crochet patterns than there is
and there's not a
patterns.
whole lot of quality control happening in the knitting world either. But there are more rules in knitting.
Yes.
And there are no rules in crocheting, really. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Absolutely.
What I liked about what this student had, though, she did have a book. It was a book of granny squares that went through increasing complexity. And it had just like a reference guide at the beginning. It had pretty clear charts. So these were all things that I'm not used to seeing in crochet patterns. And I was like, okay.
Thank God. There's an adult in charge here. We can make this work.
So I was like, though I have no proof, I was like, I am going to trust this. I'm going to trust the pattern here and we're going to get through it. And so it worked out fine. But yeah, at no point, but I also didn't want to start to, I have a tendency to set my expectations of myself even lower than they need to be sometimes. And I didn't want to undermine myself in that way. So I was just like, yeah. I crochet because I do. And then was like, let's just take a look. And then if I didn't know, or if I was like, you need to wait until next week, I was prepared to say it. But I just kept being like, well, I can see why this is confusing. This is confusing. So let's try these different paths. And that worked great. So the other hilarious thing about this group, not to put my Monday and Tuesday groups on blast because I love them so, and we're going to be accepting new members starting in July. Would love to see you there Monday and Tuesday mornings at Evans and Stitchworks. However, those folks are not the most punctual. So I roll in with my good 10 minutes to spare, and then I'm like, but Grace has those folks trained up. They were like 5 minutes outside the door, arms crossed, raring to go. I was like, good for you. All right, get on in here. Guess we're not doing music today. So it was just a total cultural difference. So I need to ask her
different vibes.
what her secret is, because those folks were boom, they were on top of it.
That's
So,
not usually crochet energy.
but I have to say too, okay, I won't name names specifically, but there was this pattern happening that this poor woman, it was her first sweater she ever chose to knit, and it was, well, whatever, it was a Quince and Co pattern. Holy shit. Um,
Everyone watching this just leaned in.
uh, like, it's from a book, I guess, a relatively recent one. Whatever. The sweater is the ash sweater. Okay. I don't
Oh,
know. I'm not familiar with this designer. Okay. But this woman, this was her first sweater. And first of all, reverse stockinette. Okay. So so after she had split for the front and back, the right side is purling and the wrong side is knitting.
similar to the Weekender. Yeah.
Yes. But then when you separate for the fronts and backs, the way that it was written was like, do the left front, semicolon, do the right front. And it wasn't like then, it was just one little semicolon. And this woman, this was her first ever sweater. And she's just like, that's tough. And I'm like, yeah. So she kept being like, I'm on the wrong side, the right side of the wrong side. It almost killed Natalie. So just to say, this student, she was like, yeah, I got to this point on my own, and I was like, I put it in a bag because I was like, I need to take a knitting class. And I was just like, whoa, that was a challenge. And instead of doing German short rows, they do yarn overs, and then you do a knit together or a purl together of the yarn over and the next stitch to result. Anyway, lots of choices being made, and I was like, we got her through her back. So she's done with the back and is ready to move on to the front. And she and I both were like, I mean, congratulations to both of us. I cannot believe that just happened. So, it was a lot to come in the middle of. And it would be definitely one of those that if I were teaching it as a class, which I never would, I would have to rewrite that whole pattern. That was wild. So that was my morning.
Nice. Oh my God. Okay, so filling in a couple maybe questions here.
Yes.
When we talk about Grace, we're talking about Grace
Hmm.
Cocking, who is known Depot Fibers. We know Grace
Yes.
back from our Knit One Days together,
Mhm.
and she too has broken off on her own. She dyes yarn, and she also teaches at Evanston Stitchworks
She does.
and Bloom and Spindle.
I think so. I think she teaches at
And
Berlin as well.
she's all over. And our friends at Cog Cycles as well. She does dyeing studios, so she
Mhm.
is great. Quince & Co. has a bad reputation for making really bad patterns. And then they tried
general?
to fix that in general. Yes, their patterns are bad. And they tried to fix that by hiring people, and then they didn't pay them properly
I
and
remember
lied
that.
to them and stole their intellectual property. So we have a lot of issues going on with Quince & Company. They have recently been
Yes.
purchased by Lion Brand Yarns. I haven't heard much else going on with that, but that is the background story.
Yes. And who knows, when I looked up the designer, she was like, I assume the pronouns are she, her. I am assuming, though, the designer said that any questions that you had about any patterns that were published by various pattern publishing companies should be directed to those publishing companies. So could be the case that this person did not write the pattern in this way.
Yes, and probably wasn't paid properly for it, and maybe isn't getting royalties from it anymore.
Right.
Which those are the stories that have been trickling through, which is probably why they sold.
Hard to say. Merely speculation, and these are just our personal opinions. No slander or libel to anyone involved. But that particular piece was insane. So I would say if you are interested in making the ash sweater, have a care for your own mental health, and either I would work with it. I would totally Thank you, Claire. You like my legal disclaimer.
Legal disclaimer, these are just our opinions.
Yes.
We have
My
no
my
information.
boyfriend
Really.
is a lawyer, but not my lawyer, and so I got to cover all my bases. So yes, I will just say if you're thinking of that ash sweater, think again, or for the right price, I can walk you through it. But good Lord, coming into the middle of that thing, I was like,
Oh
do you want
my
to set it on fire,
gosh.
maybe? It was okay though. But
It
I
is a
mean,
nice little solution.
yes, it's
Just
not.
put it in front of the sun.
Yes, I truly, but it was the thing too of where she was, like part of what she wanted to bring into class where she was like, I don't know exactly where I am in the pattern. So, and then she kind of confusing herself of like, okay, now I'm turning it to the wrong side, which is the right side, and you're just like,
Oh,
no. And I
yeah.
had to just kind of be like, I get where your head's at, but and normally I'm just like, it's okay, but I'm going to have to just start saying, no, stop it. You got to go over here now. And she'd be like, oh, okay. Because it's too much.
Jeez.
So it's tough having that
Jeez.
class right before lunch. Well, it's kind of nice having that class right before lunch because it's like you got to go have some lunch. Like you got to be done. So it was a riot, a really cool experience. That I loved those little punctual patties. But thank goodness the other two were just like starting baby sweaters and they were just like working little baby cardigans and they were just working
Give
on
you a little bit of a
increases.
break.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
was like, you good? And they were like, yes. One of them split yarn once, and the other one was just like trying to even out her stitch count. And I was like, cool, you're fine. These two, no. So funny. So it was a hell of a morning at Evanston Stitchworks, and I'm heading back tonight. Goodness knows what'll be happening, but I'm going to talk to some lunch about it. That's for sure.
Teaching knitting is wild.
Hmm.
Always.
But this format and this kind of maybe segues into some business talk. But this format to me has been very much perfected by Allyson Dijkhuizen with the origin of Sweater Club, like with her Sweater Club concept of bringing any project and you'll work through it. I believe in our conversations that we've had about the origins of Sweater Club, Allyson, you talked about how just like it's such a great way to become a better teacher because you don't know what's coming through the door and you're gonna just have to roll with it or come up with solutions on the fly. And
Mhm.
it's so interesting. It's just interesting
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that part I do like where I'm just like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So that's the part of these classes that I am enjoying. It's like, oh, I would certainly have never picked this pattern for you, but now that we're here, what do we do about it?
Let's go. Yeah. What do we do about it? Let's go. Yeah. And I can safely say, Laura, that we are two of a very few people who can actually make a class style that way work
Hmm. Hmm.
because there's so many variables and being able to, kind of go on the fly and find teaching moments that involve everyone too, which is fun. If somebody's doing something crazy, be like, hey, everybody, I need your attention because, Punctual Patty over here has got something wild that we're going to talk through. And I think this would be beneficial to everybody. And so just being there and learning from what everyone else is working on is such a huge value. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a good class. And that sweater club concept is something that Laura and I both believe in, which is why we're doing it starting this Sunday.
Hmm.
If you are hashtag influenced by this conversation, or you want to try to stump us, which I keep saying is literally impossible because it's never happened before, you should come. You should come and see it. We are going to be at Small Gathering Art Studio that is in Ravenswood here in Chicago. The space is air conditioned
Hmm.
also, which is a nice benefit. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should. We have some space still available. Spots for this
Two
Sunday are filling.
spots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spots for this Sunday are filling up, which I love to see.
Mhm.
But we can get you in there. So I think you should consider it.
Mhm.
Plus, it's a series. So it's the next 4
Next
Sundays.
for Sunday mornings. Yeah.
So you
Spend
can
your Sunday
save.
mornings with us.
you can bundle and save and sign up for all four. That's more than welcome.
We love
Um,
savings.
we love savings, but you can also go piecemeal. So I think you should do it. I know that this conversation is bringing up for a lot of people a project that it's probably one of these, like a project that's in a bag over here that you're like, I don't even know what. And that is a great thing to bring to Sweater Club, to just start unpacking it, looking it up, like figuring out where we are in the pattern. All of that stuff is an ideal Sweater Club project. So is miles and miles of stockinette, and you just need to like make some progress on something. Or if you're working on a test knit, all of these things are great Sweater Club
Seaming something
projects.
together, you know, the shit that you
Yes,
always put off. Do you need help seaming? Should we talk through blocking? Should we talk through sizing? Do you need to pick up stitches? These are all things that maybe a little helping hand can really help. So yeah, that's
absolutely.
kicking off this Sunday, and will continue for the next month. Kind of hard to believe, Laura. So we have been gone for the last 3 weeks. We were in Iceland for nearly 2 weeks, and I am just shocked to see that it is June 20th. I can't believe it. It was like time stood still when we were in Iceland, but it didn't.
No, it didn't. And did you find that when we got back, there was lots to do? And yeah, right? Which was such a lovely feeling, because in my brain, I was like, I can't even think about that until I'm back from Iceland. I can't even think about that until I'm back for Iceland. And then the day, like Monday morning, everything was like, hi, remember the things you weren't thinking about? Hello, we're here to talk to you. And
the Piper.
Right. And I'm like, but good. You know, it would be, I think the only thing that I could think of that would be more challenging is to come back to nothing. That would be awful. So I'm glad to be busy and have things waiting for me and have exciting stuff coming up, because we got to keep going. We got to have a company that will be able to take people abroad next year. So there you go.
Yes, absolutely. Great segue, Laura. We both hit the ground running when we came back from Iceland. I launched 4 new classes on Monday, which we've been sneak peeking on this show for the past couple of weeks. But my winter sweater from Calborn Woolens launched. That class is like 3.5 months. I think a lot of people were really excited to sign up for that class because it was like guaranteed time together. Like groups of people signed up for it. I only have like 2 spots left in that class. It is open for recordings only if you just want to kind of sneak it. So that's really nice. I have a little pile, Laura. One of my little piles is my Paul Klee sweater. This was a travel project. I finished the body of this in Iceland. I love this sweater. There is something going on with this neckline I have to fix.
I, as you know, have that going on with my Iceland sweater as well, but that's okay. That's okay.
I think that I need to cut out these. I don't know. I have to start figuring this out. I did cast on at the base here, so I'm going to start by ripping out this ribbing and seeing. But I might have put in too many short rows, but the ribbing could just be too high. I'm not exactly sure, so I got to dig into this. But this sweater looks so beautiful. I'm so excited about it. So this is one of my new classes that launched this week, and then I've been working away on I've got a little sleeve. Started.
Thank goodness. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And thank goodness that this is, I think being 1 hour later in the day on summer solstice is really helping, because we can really see that yarn. Yeah, we can really see it. That's great. And wearing the black for comparison was smart. Yes, smart. Very smart.
Yeah. So I have a limited amount of my yarn left. I'm using this Sans Garn alpaca. I have 1 skein left per sleeve. And that would not be a big deal except for you repeat the pattern on the bottom of the sleeve. So you kind of have to plan that out. And I was like thinking about like grafting, making the sleeve from the bottom up and grafting it together. But what I ended up doing yesterday, what I ended up thinking would be the best path forward was I cast on and did one repeat of the sleeve chart, and then I took it off the needle and weighed it, and then I multiplied that by 4 because you repeat the pattern 4 times, and then I subtracted that weight from 50 grams. So now I know how much to knit before I start doing the pattern.
I mean, that's gonna work. That's gonna work. That'll do it.
That's what I thought would be the easiest path forward. So I did a little investment in my future happiness, and that's what I came up with. So that's why I've got my little sleeve going, and I know that once I knit 18 grams of this ball, it's time to start working on the cuff detail. You know, this is the kind of shit that you figure out when someone comes into Sweater Club and says, I only have this much yarn left. What do I do? You go, well,
roll up
let's
the sleeve,
scale out, and let's figure it out. Yeah. So
for sure.
That's what I'm doing with my sleeve. Whew.
You got there. You got to think on your feet, as we always tell our students. So way to lead by example, really.
Yay. Perfect. Laura, what were your travel projects?
Well, my travel projects included, I finished from the Hello Sailor sock set by Summer Lee. I finally finished my Guernsey socks that are too bright to handle, but it's good that you can't look too closely at them because I wore them on the Golden Circle tour and they're a little funky. But yes, these are a set now. There's 2, double the blindness, and they're cute. So this was very fun, and I'm excited to actually have a pair of socks at the end of the year. That feels, or at the midpoint of the year, I finally have a pair of something. Very fun. And shout out again to Karen Yetzen for leaving this yarn at the swap at our Valentine's retreat. And also shout out to Knit Picks, because Stroll fingering is such squishy, nice sock yarn. And sometimes you just want an insane color or a totally solid. And this that went a long way. 10 out of 10.
I was watching something with Summer Lee, and she said that that's her favorite sock yarn as well.
Yeah, I think if you're doing something with a lot of texture, sometimes you want that texture to shine. And having solid, like a true solid that you don't really have to worry about, like consistency, there's as we always say, there is a yarn for every project. Like there is no wrong or bad yarn. It's just finding the right project and yarn combination. So I just really enjoyed working with that Knit Picks. That was good stuff. It had been a while. And thumbs up on Stroll. Great price point.
Agreed.
Good product.
Yeah, beautiful.
Not an ad. Just saying. We both have done work with Knit Picks over the years, and I've always had good experiences.
Great company.
So that's how I feel. Yeah. And then my other travel project, Allyson, as you know, it is Vest Fest, and it's always Vest Fest in my heart, but it is actually Vest Fest right now. So I took along my sporty 45 cardigan with me to Iceland and had a lot of luck working on this thing, especially on the plane ride home. So I was able last night to join my shoulders, and I just picked up.
That's
Despite all that insane crochet and the weird Quince & Co. pattern energy, I was still able to work through one of my sleeves today at Stitchwork. So I'm hoping to get through the other and then do the final button band pickup. But yeah, this thing is the sweetest. I just think it's cute. I was talking to Heather of Yu Yarns about it on Instagram, and she was just like, oh my God, isn't this such a cute pattern? And that she really loves the T version of this. But yeah, I'm so excited about this. I definitely think I'll wear it open. And it looks so cute with my dress even. Yeah. So I just love it.
It's a nice little topper. She's a nice little topper.
great little topper, and it'll be a nice little win for Vest Fest to just have something. And speaking of my Monday class, the fabulous Sharon Pfeiffer is in my Monday class. Button collector to the stars. By the stars, I mean you and I. And so she's been watching this come together. So she's like, I've got some button ideas for you. And I'm like, Sharon, love that for me.
Working it. Always. Angle. Yeah.
Always. So this was my other travel project, and then I also cast on a design my own yoke sweater. So this was great, working through that worksheet in real time. Learned a lot. Collected these various motifs, just various inspiration from around Reykjavik and at the yarn shops we visited. And this was my start. This was, again, we'll talk more about the yarn and all that good stuff in our Level Up series, the Plate Lopi. We got plates on plates, lots to discuss.
I got plates on plates.
Lots to discuss in the lead up, or in our Level Up series tomorrow night. But I also want to replace So Woolen.
Oh my God. It literally smells like a sheep. This is the closest I put it toward me because it's been 106 degrees.
Yeah.
It's
really,
so sheep.
Yes, it's very, very sheepy. It was very funny because we used Lindy and Susan's room. There was a steam iron in that room, and we kept sending people up from midnight to go use the steam room. And it smelled like a barn. Their room just smelled like barnyard in the best way, but it was just like, well, thanks for hosting.
Bye.
Yeah, definitely smells like it. But as predicted, I got very excited about this, working on this in 50, 60 degree weather, was designing away, wanted to like really get to a certain point of this yoke. And then I was like, the minute we touch ground, I can't. So it's going in a cedar chest. I'm making a bunch of notes on my pattern to pick it back up for Sleeptember, but I freaking love Lopi. I did get a Lopi, a quantity to make a Lopi vest for my next vest project, but it really needs to stay in the 80s at least, low 80s. The 96 thing is insane. I don't know about her, but those were my travel projects. Thank you so much for asking.
So good. Yeah.
Thank you.
So good. Nice. Yeah. So like, Laura and I keep teasing, we're doing an Iceland deep dive tomorrow evening for, Laura Allyson party. So if you want to hear all about our trip and our plans for our next international retreats, which will include Iceland, we got to go back. I miss it already. We've been home for 3 days.
Yeah. I'm ready to go back. I just feel like we've perfected it, and I'm ready to go back. So let's do it.
Yeah. Same. Sounds good. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. All right, Laura, we've been businessing, we've been yarning, we've been doing all that. We're out of practice. All right. Yeah. We're out of practice. That's what this is. Sure. But we can just go full biz, cause we got other biz to discuss, including our exciting Olympic plans.
For sure.
Though I guess I shouldn't have said Olympic.
Hellenic Games.
Yes.
Hellenic Games.
The games.
Yes. Greek-inspired summer games.
Greek-inspired summer games. The Olympics is a no fun zone, right? We all know this.
Highly litigious, and very protective of their brand that we do not own.
Protective? Yeah, that we're not doing shit. All right.
I have no imagery whatsoever on this screen, so calm down, IOC.
Calm down. Yeah.
Keep capitulating to Putin and leave us alone.
Exactly. You know what's a no fun zone? Those Winter Olympics. Oh my gosh, no fun zone. So yeah.
Girl, no, we can't play that NBC song. No, we cannot. You go ahead.
just play it in your heart, okay?
Yeah.
Play it in your heart.
The only way we
But
could get away with that is 7 seconds of it, and we'd have to like critique it in some way. And I don't have time because it's perfect. It's perfect.
yeah, no notes. Great job,
Yeah.
everyone. You did
Yeah.
great. That's the only thing you've done well. All right, come on. But over at the party, we are going to have a games
Summer games.
knit along, summer games knit along, where we're going to cast on during the opening ceremonies, and we're going to bind off before the closing ceremonies. And if you were an early adapter of Ravelry, this might sound familiar to you. Before the Olympics came for Ravelry, even though they were doing nothing except calling their games the Ravelympics. But that was too much for them, so they sent them a cease and desist.
Yeah. Whatever. But it is still, in spite of all of that, and similar to lots of professional sports organizations, really, you have to overlook a lot to enjoy what you enjoy. And it's not ultimately what I enjoy is these athletes, and it is not these athletes' fault that this governing body is such garbaggio. And I will still continue to consume the content. There it is. So
same,
yeah.
and we know you will too. So if you are
Yes.
with us, if you are a fan of the summer games, this is going to be very challenging, basically impossible. And you want to do our knit along with us, start shopping for yarn. Start looking for a project that you think that you can finish in like 2.5 weeks, because there are fabulous prizes. There's going to be fun to be had. And Laura and I, you'll never believe this, but we have a lot of opinions about everything to do with the Olympics. So we will be bringing our private chat to the foreground,
Yes.
so that you can hear everything we have to say about these games.
Pass on date is July 26th, which is very easy.
Wait,
it should be very easy.
That reminds me of something. What? It's on the tip of my tongue. Laura, is that your birthday?
It is my birthday, and so everyone already has that marked, signed, and sealed on their calendar. And as it turns out, the end of July is is just like a huge day, like time to celebrate things. So it is Ragbri, the bike ride I do across Iowa. It's during Yarn Crawl. It's during like all kinds of people love having their weddings on my birthday. But they also like to open up these summer games in Paris, France, and put on a global pageant of epic proportions. And so that is a great time to cast on a project, and you've got plenty of time, a little over a month, in fact, to get your plans in order. So we are looking for fresh casts on, everyone. You do not have to. You can knit, you can participate with us in any way that you'd like. But if you're reaching for that gold medal, you may. We do need you to do a fresh cast on. That is what we would like to see. So there you go.
I know it's weird for us to have actual rules.
Mm-hmm. I know.
But it is what it is. This is the rule. Okay, we're sticking to it. It can be one sock.
Yeah. Yeah, but start to finish.
Start
equals
to finish.
Medals.
Yeah,
so there
equals
you go.
medals. Okay, a gold medal.
A gold medal.
All right,
yes.
Gold medal. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I'm excited about that one, Laura.
Yes,
and we have a lot of other things that we're going to be launching next week. We didn't want to overwhelm. We got very excited about a few things that we're doing this summer. So keep an eye out. Donna, Laura is out on Ragbri this year with everything going on. Is there more Ragbri drama, Laura? There's always Ragbri drama. Those islands love to have drama.
Well, the Mother Nature likes to have drama with Iowa as well. So there's been quite a lot of cyclone damage. But I believe that may be what Donna's referring to. But yeah, there's always shenanigans when you're like taking 20,000 people and having them ride from small town to small town. But I was on the every other year track for RAGBRAI, Donna, and I will continue on that track because last year was so hard. It was unreasonable and dangerous, and yet I had a blast, and yet I need a break. So no, off this year. I'll be very chill vibes only. I will be spending. I'm turning 40 this year, so we're going for chill vibes. We're going for chill vibes. On the odd years, I like an even year because it's an Olympic year. And I like an odd year because it's like, oh, what's really happening? And that's when I like to head over to Iowa.
Laura, 4 years ago, I threw you a surprise Olympic themed 2020 birthday party.
Yes.
And those pictures pop up every once in a while. Now, the sporting events that we did were pretty epic. They involved carrying eggs and spoons.
Mm-hmm.
They involved throwing ring toss to hand. That your partner had the cones on their hands to help you. It was pretty good. It was also hot as shit when we were doing that. But I think we all
very
got
bad
medals that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to be Team Jamaica because one of my favorite movies of all time is Cool Runnings, the not so true story, but inspired by the true story of the Jamaican bobsled team at the Calgary Olympics in 1988. And it was great. It was so great, and a time that was not great. So it's nice to be able to look back on that, having just traveled internationally. Yeah.
It was, the pictures are crazy. I think Julie shared a picture recently of it, and she's like, this is the most 2020 picture
yes.
I think that exists.
Yes. And Julie and Tommy were Team France, and they wore knitted berets in the 90-degree heat in the direct sunlight. And I
never came off.
No, I just really, I really highly recommend being friends with people that commit to the bit. That is impressive. And I can't believe we get to look back fondly, because at the time it felt like it was going to be like that forever. So it's nice to laugh about it now and look back fondly. Crazy.
It is crazy to think that was 4 years ago, too.
It is. That is also very crazy.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And I'm excited to do some indoor activities during this Olympic Games. Lots of knitting. I don't have my project picked out yet. We've got some time. But keep an eye out. We're doing it.
100%. So very exciting stuff. And then we've already recapped tomorrow night. We've got a Level Up series coming up. We've got a 4-series Sunday in-person sweater club dates if you are in Chicago, or perhaps are traveling to Chicago. Would love to see you. That's what Linda Joe's up to. So can always reserve a little Sunday time with us. We would love to see you. And we have Indigo Dye Studio Day coming up in July. So for folks that are, we'll talk about this a bit in our Level Up series tomorrow, but there was a lot of natural dyeing happening in Iceland at the Hespa studio, and we got to visit and talk with Gundrun all about it, and it was super inspirational. Super inspirational. I know Meg and I both were like, oh my God, I cannot wait for Dye Studio Day. It's going to be indigo focused, all things indigo, coming up this July. So we would love to see you there as well. And I really feel like that's enough business for the moment. But I'm going to add one more piece, which is if you are looking at VestFest and haven't quite found your pattern, may I suggest the Friday tee by Petite Knits. I have every Wednesday except for the last 4 Wednesdays of July. I'm going to be teaching Friday tea again, and I've offered. We've got a small group of folks in there, and we also have folks returning who are on recordings only. So if you need some motivation or want to get started on a Friday tea, join me in July. It will count for VestFest.
I love that. Laura, I want to say this out loud to you. this poetry sweater.
Yeah.
It is gray, but I
Yeah.
want it to be indigo.
Sweet. I can help you out with that. Ciao. I can help you with that.
So if you want to see my beautiful poetry sweater get dipped into an indigo bath, go to the Indigo Dye Studio because I will be giving it to Laura to do for me.
Oh my gosh, razzle dazzle. That is so
Yeah, it's
exciting.
gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yeah. So, Laura, can I start with our culture
Oh,
corner?
please. Of course.
Because I have been reading a book.
Oh, that's great. I love to hear about books. Oh my gosh.
I have been reading this, the Lucy Worsley biography of Agatha Christie. I'm almost done with it. I've got like 12 pages left. I just fell asleep last night. But my plan is to finish it up today because I have another book that I just picked up from the library. But I love Lucy Worsley. If you are a PBS watcher like me, you've probably seen her. She does a really cool like docu-series about different historic things where she dresses up, and I just love her personality. She's so fun and smart, and she has all the right takes.
Mhm.
And I've never read one of her books before, but I was really motivated by her coming out with this Agatha Christie book to read it, and I got it from the library. And what I really love about it is if you like, Lucy Worsley is a very invested historian, and the way that she puts her own voice into, just like she puts her own voice into the documentaries that she makes,
Yeah.
her voice and her opinions are in this book, and she doesn't shy away from the warts. Agatha Christie has shit going on throughout her novels and throughout her life that's pretty controversial, and a lot of those don't stand up to date. And Lucy Worsley doesn't shy away from talking about those things, but also defending her as a woman who was one of the biggest money-making
Mm.
authors of her time, and how she got really shit on for that, because guess what? People really hate women, really hate
Especially
successful
when they're
women
successful.
specifically.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So her perspective, I've just loved. This was my book that I took to Iceland, and yeah, I almost got through it, and so I'm really excited. Lucy Worsley has a Jane Austen book that I'm excited to read too. She's got
Oh yeah.
weirdly, what things that we like really align. There's like the Venn diagram of me and Lucy Worsley is a circle. So I think I'm just going to go through all of her books. I'm pretty excited. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this. And now I think I've read a couple of Agatha Christie books, but now I'm really motivated to read a couple of them. It seems like fun summer reading too,
Yeah,
like
for sure. Beach read.
mysteries. Yeah, beach read, or shaded porch read
Yes,
in
of course.
my case.
Of course.
So that's my culture corner.
That's
Well, the
great.
highbrow culture corner. Everything else is trash.
Oh, well. If you are looking for an entry point for Lucy Worsley, my personal favorite is the 8 days of Tudor Christmas. I think
Oh my God, yes, that's so good.
that one
I
is
love
great
that.
and good all year long, honestly. So look up
Yes.
that Tudor Christmas special. That thing is awesome. I love
She
that
does
thing.
a really good special about all of Henry VIII's wives too,
Hmm.
and
Oh
how
yeah.
they interact, and she talks, like, she costumes up so much, and she
Yeah.
gets super into the different like period costumes, and I just love it. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, cosign. I'm very excited to check out to act on that recommendation, Allison, because I was just thinking how when I was a kid as a reader, I loved series. I loved a good series, and I just have never as an
Yes.
adult found like a series that I've really gotten into. But to know that she's
Yeah.
got a bunch of books, I would just be so refreshing to be like, oh, Finished with one, there's another, there's another.
Next one. Yeah, it's nice because it
My,
takes sometimes I think the hardest part is finding the next
yes,
thing. That's why we all just watch Gilmore Girls over and over again because we
right,
don't have to think about it, right? It's nice to find that in book form for
for
sure.
sure, for sure. I have started, thanks to recommendations from folks on the trip to Iceland with us, I have started a historical fiction book about with the subject matter is Iceland. And I have to say like all things Icelandic, incredibly dark. So this may not be for you. It's just dark and rather unrelenting. But I was very much in the mood for it. I was in the mood for it after that trip because that is something that I like about Iceland. I think it is
Me
foreboding, and
too.
I think that everybody's attitude there, like they should just be a lot shittier. And instead, they're just like, yeah, I mean,
We're
this
all
place
gonna
is
die
very
soon.
dangerous,
It's
right?
crazy.
They're like,
Yeah.
what matters is like just take it every day as it comes, and you'll figure out a solution, and it might take a while. And I'm like, yeah, okay. At least you're not like, meh. I think I just like how I just like their outlook, honestly. So the book is called Burial Rites, and it is historical fiction based on the last public execution that took place in Iceland in 1820, and it was a woman, and she was found guilty at the time. Iceland was part of Denmark, and she was found guilty by the Danish government of murder and was sentenced to beheading. And it picks up on her being transferred from a jail cell where she was being wildly mistreated to a small farm with a family living in it, a local magistrate. And we'll see. We haven't gotten to the crime yet. We're working on it. But I'm reading the audiobook, and I have to recommend it specifically. The narrator is wonderful, and she pronounces everything in the proper Icelandic, and it is so much. It's helpful to hear it. Like it really places you there. Because reading it, you're like, I don't know what the D with the line through it is, and I don't know what this letter is. So
Oh
it's
my God,
really
it's
nice.
so hard.
It is.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
I think I've finally figured out this one, but my poor phone, I cannot type it into my phone anywhere. But it is so helpful to have her read the place names, and you can like Google as you listen. So highly recommended it as an audiobook. If you have Spotify Premium, it is on Spotify Premium. So Burial Rites, we're doing like a mini read along with some of the Iceland folks. So would love to hear if you check it out. Really liking that. And then I'm about to embark on a culture thing, Allyson. I know that's a little bit out of step with what we normally do, but I just watched a TikTok roasting this documentary, and I want to go watch it right now. Apparently Andrew Andrew McCarthy of the 80s group of actors known as the Brat Pack has put together a documentary called Brat on
Oh,
Hulu, and
that's
it
weird.
came
I
out
I
two
heard
days
good
ago.
things about it.
Okay, so I want to watch it because
It's
it
on
was put
Hulu.
together. It's on Hulu, and I'm going to check it out because this person was talking about how, thank you, McCarthy, Lisa. Andrew McCarthy specifically has a huge problem with the term Brat Pack. And he uses, his framing is that it basically ruined his career, and he was not able to advance because he was saddled with the Brat Pack. Right, there's the eye roll. And so it ends with he interviews various members of the Brat Pack, including Rob Lowe and Demi Moore, who were like, I don't know, it was kind of fun, and we were assholes. Uh, and um, and he's like, no, didn't it ruin everything? And Rob Lowe's like, I don't know. I mean, weren't we dicks? We were kind of dicks. And then by the end, he confronts the guy that wrote the article. And the guy that wrote the article is like, basically, I'm sorry you feel that way. And Andrew McCarthy's like, aren't you sorry? Don't
Oh
you owe me an
God.
apology? And the guy's like, no, it was a great headline.
Really uncomfortable. Holy
Right.
shit. I
And it
just
just kind of
can't
ends.
sit through some whiny rich white dude bitchy. Like, I mean, he made this whole documentary about that.
So I'm gonna watch it because I was like, you've got to be kidding. And then after, like the day after the documentary came out, that same writer was like, here was my experience. It was really crazy that he's like, I'm not sorry. And, it was a great article, and it was a moment in time. And like all of these people did interesting work. And we hugged it out, but I thought that was very strange. So I don't know, because the sad part for me is Andrew McCarthy was always kind of my favorite among the bunch. So
Really?
I liked him. I also like Judd. Judd, what's his nuts? But
Nelson Judd.
Nelson Judd. He was always my super crush. But he and Molly Ringwald did not participate. And to me, I'm like, that tells me all I need to know.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Molly.
that's Lisa just looked at that fact as well. So the fact that both Molly and Judd are not in it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch it. I think it's gonna be.
Like he did not have a sense of humor. He didn't.
I feel like he's improved over time, but at the time, I do not think he did. That is for sure.
I think Molly
cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Also said that the Brat Pack thing ruined her life.
But she did a really interesting This American Life episode, stay with me, where she talked about her daughter being old enough to watch 16 Candles with, and to watch some of her movies, and like being a teen and watching with her daughter and hearing her daughter's perspective on how fucked up a lot of it was, and her being like, yeah. And so I don't know. I think she's got a really healthy point of view of it all, while still really loving her connection with John Hughes. I think she's able to be look at it a little bit critically as a parent or whatever. So I don't know. I'm gonna watch it though. I would love to know what everybody thinks.
All right, I'll dig into it. Too.
Yeah, Brat.
I saw that popping up on Instagram, and it kind of reminded me of that Kid 90. That
right. Well, that's why I was like, oh, this might be, because you loved that so much.
Good.
And it was good. And I was like, oh, maybe this is another one of those. And it's cool that it's got his point of view. Yeah. But I'm going in, even though it sounds like I've made up my mind already. I am going with an open mind, because this TikTok I watched was a 20-year-old. She was like 20 years old if she was a day. And so she was like, oh, it's such Gen X nonsense, like whiny, blah, blah. And I was just like, well, I mean, she's like 2 generations removed from the Brat Pack.
Yeah, because we're kind of one generation removed from the Brat Pack. It wasn't part of our lives until later.
Right. Like that would kind of be like us as kids interacting with like early Jack Nicholson stuff. And I never understood that whatsoever. I never cuckooed or anything. So, I mean, who knows? But I really want to check it out. So that's what I'm doing after this.
Nice. I like it. What I'm doing after this is going back to Perfect Match Season 2 on Netflix. Which,
amazing.
If you're unfamiliar, they take all of the cast-offs of all of the other shitty reality shows and throw them in a villa in Mexico together and see what happens. And guess what? It's terrible. So that's what I'm doing. And also, I'm very into literature.
Of course. That's why you start high. But I'm excited for both of these things for us. So luckily, I have plenty of stockinette. So if it does get tedious and it's a wealthy white man feeling bad for himself, I'll have plenty to work on. So those are my plans.
Love it. It's too bad Judd What's-His-Nuts isn't on it, because that would be nice.
I still have a big crush on him. So whatever. Yeah, problematic for sure, but woo, handsome.
I don't think I was into any of those boys.
Yeah, super into him. Young baby Emilio was super cute. But
that would be the one for me, because I kind of had a crush on him from Mighty Ducks. Well, that was the other thing. When I was this 20-year-old, she was talking about movies that you might know Emilio Estevez from, and she was like, oh yeah, he was the jock in Breakfast Club, and then she said some other movie, and she did not say Mighty Ducks, and I was like, we don't understand each other. We fundamentally do not understand each other.
Right?
Oh my God.
Right? I was like, if I say Emilio and you do not say quack quack, I do not.
Mighty Ducks.
Right.
Exactly.
Triple Deke. Yeah, Flying V. It's not. we're not having the same experience of these people. So we'll see.
Is Emilio Estevez in the show?
I
Do you know?
think so, and I think maybe to me, but I'll have to let you know. So if you do not if you do not follow Culture Corner over in the party, now is a great time to do that because I'll be throwing up my review in about an hour and a half. I hope it's a smooth 90 minutes. We'll see.
Ooh, that would get me to do it. If it's a 6-parter. Some whiny white
Keep
man.
an eye out for my review, because my opinion is good. But yeah, keep an eye out. I'll be posted over there this afternoon.
All right. So friends, next week, Laura and I will not be here again, because, we miss traveling so much that we decided to plan another trip for ourselves, and we're going to St. Louis, Missouri, to check out Busch Stadium. It's about beer. Okay. It's about beer.
Yeah. Mind out of the gutter, please.
Mind out of the gutter. I saw all your faces. Come on. So we will be in St. Louis, Missouri, seeing what's there, seeing what's around. We'll report back. I heard it's kind of chill and awesome, so I'm kind of excited about it. We'll see what there's to see. Yeah.
We can make 48 hours anywhere fun. So this will be a big moment for me. The Cardinals are my grandpa's favorite baseball team, and I've never been to Busch Stadium, so excited to check it out.
New stadium. Very excited to check it out. It will be 200 degrees, Christy. Every time I've been in St. Louis, and I haven't been there in 20 years, but every time I've been there, it has been 200 degrees.
Guaranteed. Yeah, something about that, like, middle of the country gets so swampy. Oh, yeah. So off we go.
But we're doing it. Yeah, we're doing it. It's going to be great.
As fast as Southwest can take us.
We will see you again in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure. We'll see what happens. Thank you for joining us.
Might be the 4th of July in 2 weeks, but who knows?
Say, maybe I should check. Maybe I should check this.
It is literally the 4th of July in 2 weeks. Yes, it is.
So then, no, we won't see you in 2 weeks. We'll see you on July 11th. No, we won't, because that's when we'll be in Milwaukee. I hope this was a good episode, Laura, because we're just dropping them. We're just dropping them. So we won't be back here until July 12th. Nope, July 8th. July 18th, 1 month from today.
Yes, but we will be going, well, that's not true either because that's the end of July. Anyway, yeah, but that's all right. That's all right. We have lots of other in-person opportunities. We have lots of other in-person opportunities to interact with us, including First Fridays starting in July. So come see us IRL and keep in touch with us, our comings and goings at lauraallison.party.
All right, see you then. Bye, everybody.